Hi everyone, no major news today, so let's get straight into the data.
Do me a quick favor and like and subscribe and watch the video till the end to help out the channel, and let's get started.
So markets were pretty little changed on the day. 41 was the close for the week. Last week we were at a 38, so really very little change. Down from a month ago and definitely down from a year ago, but markets are continuing to sit basically at all-time highs with mixed markets and weakening breadth, so really very little change for this Friday session. Moving over to seasonality, we are in a sideways choppy period. We did get sideways choppy. We'll see how this Monday comes. The dip is supposed to be Monday, and that is supposed to be the low of the month. But right now, sideways choppy is holding true. Moving over to the economic calendar, we did get some data here. Global U.S. manufacturing PMI, pretty good there, above estimates. Same for global composite PMI, global services PMI. All of those numbers were better than 50 and better than expectations, which was good. Existing home sales also beating expectations, also good. And that'll wrap it up for this week's data. Moving over to Max Pain, you can see the top of the puts here, 551 to 553. So there were some puts that entered the market here to close out the week. Max Pain shifted a lot for that Friday, up to 547. It was down around 505, 510 previously, shifted a lot. Calls entered the market here at 550, so that was your call wall. We didn't have data for yesterday, so we didn't get to see too much of that shift in yesterday's market, but look at all of these puts. Put call ratio was extremely high at 6.9. There was no chance it was going to fall, so unfortunately we didn't get that data yesterday, but we'll see how this plays out in next week's data. Obviously there will be way less options, and we'll take a look at that on the Sunday video. Moving over to the charts, starting off with the S&Ps, you can see we gapped down, hovered flat right at support 544. We talked about that being an area where it was going to move tomorrow in yesterday's video, and sure enough, that's where we went after the falling price action yesterday continued lower to that level. So short-term downtrend, you can see we're in this consolidation here. We got a doji on the day right at the 9 EMA sitting at 542.02. Momentum on the daily chart continues to wane. We're right at the RSI SMA here, so we broke just barely below that, so that's a little bit of a bearish indicator. We'll see if that has any follow through into the Monday session, but you can see we're right in this channel, very close to the trend. Trend support would be right around that 9 EMA, so everything looks like just a normal pullback. And you can see we did get selling volume at the end of the week, which is not super great. We also got selling volume on that Thursday, so that's a little bit of a bearish indicator as well. Moving over to the Tasty charts here on the 4-hour, it is worth mentioning that we did enter bearish conditions just barely. Trailing stop now is at 549.77 on the 4-hour chart. We are right on top of that 34 EMA sitting at 544, so critical zone right there. If this breaks, we're probably headed down to that 541.59 level, which is right at the 55 EMA and that lowest ATR band on the 4-hour chart. You can also see bearish momentum. Volume wasn't super powerful compared to yesterday, but still another move down, still a short-term downtrend on the 4-hour. Moving over to the NASDAQ, similar thesis, but a little bit more bearish, except for that after hours candle. You can see downtrend, slow sloping downtrend move, bottomed out around 478.70, slight rally back, still mixed consolidation. Support is 477.69, and then that 144 EMA sitting down there at 476.30. And then you can see it here on the daily chart. Momentum continuing to step down, similar to the SPY, right on top of that SMA. And then the 9 EMA sitting at 477.20, so right in that same area as support. If that level breaks, then we're probably headed down to 471.93. But if it holds, we could get a continuation higher. Moving over to the Russell and the Dow, the Russell actually turned in a positive day, 0.23, way better than I expected. Looked very clean coming off of that 144 EMA at 199.12. Held that level, everything looked good. Closed above the 200 level as well. I don't have a level there, but that is a major psychological level, as you would expect. Still want to see it push above the trend line. It's up a little bit after hours. Momentum continues to roll to bullish, so that is good. And then looking at the Dow here, continues to find resistance at 392.44. Touch that level, dojied. Momentum is bullish. Could be just a short-term pullback and then push to a higher high. I still think the structure is going to go higher. It's just finding resistance at 392.44. So overall, Russell looks the best out of the major indices right now. Moving over to stocks that moved here, we'll talk about Gilead. Once again, they had another good day, 3.18%, hit the level 72.09. That was the price target. Broke this trend line here, so that looks very good. 200 SMA sitting at 74.06. That could be your next price target if we can break that 72 level. Right now, we touched it and then rejected, which is not great. Still big volume on the day, which is interesting. And then secondly, here we have Etsy. This has been another very sad downtrending move move on Etsy. This was about 3 times more expensive. I think we've fallen about 75%, but now we've had 2 good days, about 1% and then another 3.38%. You can see a double bottom here forming, and you can see it here. It was up around $150 and now we're down around $60. We've been here before. Last time we were in this zone was November of 23. So Etsy trying to find some support in this zone, and if it's going to do it, it really should do it now, and it is catching a little bit of a bounce. You can also see big volume here. So big volume last time we were here at the beginning of May, and then decent volume again here at the same zone in the middle of June. In terms of levels, I have a price target up around $71 if it can start to reverse this trend. Like I said, I haven't looked at this chart in a while, but it seems like a decent opportunity. Moving over to Apple and Tesla. Apple continues to fall, down 1%. Touched the price target. That was 207.14. Low of day was 207.11, so that level needs to hold. But look at this volume, huge volume, even bigger than these previous spikes. So selling pressure coming in, closed on the low. This is probably going to go lower. If this level breaks, you can see there's not a ton of levels in here. Next one would be 199.54. Could be that 200 level, the big psychological level, but momentum bearish, RSI bearish, volume not great. And then looking at Microsoft, completely reversed the move yesterday, positive 0.92. Momentum still not great, RSI stepping higher, volume stepping higher. And then that trend resistance, again, still sitting up around 457.93, and I do think we can get there. Moving over to staples and discretionaries, you can see staples continues to throw wicks to those same levels, still holding 77.50, so it still could be bullish, but this is the third time we're sending wicks into that same zone. Can't seem to go higher. And then we got discretionaries rocketing higher here, 0.84. We expected that 180.10 level to hold. It is now held. It's pushing towards 185.37 in my opinion. Momentum bullish, RSI bullish, so a little bit of a risk on market here over the next day or two in my opinion. Moving over to oil and copper, you can see oil rejected off of that 80.97 level. Momentum stepping to bearish, volume not a ton there. It's still holding this trend line arguably. It's been on a massive run. It's probably just a little bit extended. Want to see it touch that 9 EMA down at 79.28, hold that level, and then potentially push up into this 86 area. And then copper, big selling day. Not a ton of volume, momentum back to bearish. Closed on the low, 2.75% to the downside. Support is still 4.39, but that is not great, and that's indicating a little bit of a pullback in economic factors, which is interesting considering the economic data that we saw on the calendar today. Moving over to RIOT and Marathon, both of these dumped pretty heavily, 8.35 and 7%. So Marathon, island reversal, couldn't hold the trend. It's still holding support at 1878, but bearish momentum, bearish RSI, big volume. If that level breaks, then you're headed to the 200 at $17. Then you'll have to reassess there. And then similarly with RIOT, gapped through the trend line, next support $8.78. Moving over to the dollar is quite positive, 0.15. This continues to do exactly what we thought. Pulled to the 21, rallied to a new high. Price target still 106.8. As long as this continues to be bullish, that could be bearish for markets. It's not showing a ton of momentum, but it is still technically bullish. We got to step up on momentum. RSI went a little bit higher with some higher prices. Still struggling a little bit with that wick high from Friday the 14th, but overall this still looks like it's going to continue higher in my opinion. Moving over to bonds, you can see J&K went a little bit higher, 0.11, so that's a little bit of a precursor. Could indicate that we're going to go higher on Monday. And then TLT completely flat on the day. Yields were pretty much unchanged, so it makes sense that we were flat here. Momentum fading, RSI, it's right on the SMA. If it's going to bounce, it needs to do it now. This is still a bullish structure, so I would expect it to go higher. It didn't break structure by any means, but we could see a little bit more pullback before that happens. So overall, neutral to bullish. Moving over to volatility, move index, it's in a zone of support. Could be interesting there. Volatility could be stepping higher there for bonds. And then VIX, it did go higher. Went up to that 13.71 level. That is your 144 EMA. Rejected a little bit from there, so we did get a slightly higher high. Momentum still bullish, RSI still bullish. We didn't push as hard as I thought we might, but again, this is still indicating to me that the VIX is probably headed higher over the next day or two, and that 14.7 level is my current price target. Moving over to my accounts, I did pretty well, about $470, back up to that 138,600 area. Made about $80, doubled the money on the IWM. That was great. The call made money, and it looks super bullish into the close, so I actually added some money there. Still hovering around 250, so I added a put at 200 for 48 cents. Net on that is only 40 cents because I had to sell a put spread, so trying to make a little bit more money on that. And I sold the 201 for Monday, trying to make a little bit more money there, 47 cents, but it's out of the money, so looking to make about $100 on that. And then you can see the Qs is actually up about 70 cents after hours, still making money there. I sold a 477 for tomorrow. Actually rolled out and down on that position, so 477 for tomorrow. Made some money there, still have about $100 left on the table. And then my covered call at 478. I'll continue to roll that out as I can. Still plenty of money potential there. It's about 50% profit, and then I have a call here at 128 out of around a 140 profit. Probably should have taken that off, to be honest. We might see a little bit of a bounce, so we'll see how that plays out. Still moderately bullish going into the Monday session, continuing to play defense if levels break. Let me know down in the comments section what you think of markets. What do you think about the Russell looking the best out of the group and the SPY actually looking quite bearish? Pretty interesting to see that mix. We're finally seeing a little bit of a reversal in those trends. What do you think and how are you trading that? Otherwise, definitely like and subscribe if you got any value out of this video, and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Of course, none of this is financial advice. This is all for entertainment purposes. Good luck in your trading and have a great day.